every living, breathing thing on this planet would be controlled by the global elites. What could go wrong, right? Michelle Bachman joins me now to help answer that question. Dean of the Robertson School of Government at Regent University. Michelle, thank you so much for being with us. It's great to have you.
Allison, thank you. And thank you so much for OAN covering this very real threat to our freedom.
Absolutely. I think it's so crucial. I think it's probably the most important story that not nearly enough people are talking about. You and I know the Biden regime is currently, as we speak, leading the worldwide effort to ultimately transfer our national sovereignty over health-making decisions to the World Health Organization. Michelle, please tell us more about the WHO's power grab for global governance and why this should concern absolutely everyone.
It should concern everyone, Allison, because this began last year when the Biden administration single-handedly aggressively pushed the passage of amendments at the World Health Assembly in Geneva, Switzerland. That's the physical location of the governance body of the World Health Organization. At that time, we were still living under emergency powers, and coincidentally, as we're speaking, those emergency powers after 3 years are finally being lifted here in the United States. But the Biden administration still has an eye on control over our freedoms. That's why this year they're aggressively working at the United Nations in Geneva at the World Health Assembly, the governance body of the World Health Organization, to pass 305 amendments this year that would give power to the World Health Organization, effectively creating a platform for the first time in history for global governance being located at the World Health Organization. And what you stated is not an overstatement. You're simply reading from the documents that have been posted. The assertion is to take even more freedom away from governments and from individuals to make crucial healthcare decisions for ourselves. And the definition of health has been broadly expanded to include the planet, animal life, plant life, human life. So humans aren't being elevated above plants or animals or the earth. We're considered one and the same.
It's truly incredible, and we know that they're ultimately doing this to basically have the authority to create another pandemic, right? We saw how they handled COVID, and if this goes through, it just ultimately allows them to create any reason to declare another pandemic. Is that correct?
Well, Allison, you're right about that, in that they're planning that there will be another pandemic. Isn't that strange? We didn't have one for 100 years, but they're already that there will be another one. And their theory is that we as individuals had too much control over our lives and that nations had too much control during the pandemic. So they want to have all control at an international governing body through the UN. Again, the World Health Organization is the healthcare arm of the United Nations. They want to make sure that they have all control, all say over what our freedoms or lack thereof would be in the case of another pandemic. We can't let this happen. We can't let this happen. And that's why people need to call their senator and their congressman and say no to the United States being in the World Health Organization. President Trump rightly pulled the United States out of the World Health Organization. He stopped the funding of the U.S. to the World Health Organization. But it takes a year for that to come into effect. When President Trump didn't return to the White House in 2020, the day that Joe Biden was inaugurated on January 20th, 2021, he put the United States back into the World Health Organization and resumed funding of the World Health Organization from the U.S. So now we come under the international health rules. And so Biden wants to change the rules to give up even more sovereignty to the World Health Organization. This is a very concerning thing, and I'm so grateful that you're bringing attention to this to your listening audience. And they can do something. They can call their Congress and say, get the United States out of the World Health Organization as soon as possible and defund it.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.